Yo, yo, yo. Man, what a time. What a time to be alive, man. I'm excited, man. I'm just excited for what's going to happen in the markets. What's going to happen with the plays, man. It's just an exciting time, but let's get into it. You know we finna be rich, man. We already rich. Wealthy in the mind, wealthy in the spirit. Looking at the total market cap, right here. Let me go ahead and take everything out the chart because this has been the first time I've done a video in a while. So just looking at the total market cap, I'll eventually get into, loop ring for my homie and then etc markets, but just starting with the overall money inside of the crypto space, we can see that we've had a straight steady decline since the opening of April, which is a month into the second quarter. Right, so we have to, I mean, not the month, the beginning of the second quarter, we can see the market really begin to show the cycles and the waves throughout. So for me, when I bring back on my drawings, when I have these purple boxes, these blue boxes, they just represent Fibonacci zones. So if you're looking at this first blue arrow right here, just stay with me. I drew a purple box and a blue box. Just stick with me. That's all you need to know. Price is now broken through that purple box and is now coming towards this lower purple box. And what that is a higher time frame. If I go to the weekly time frame, a major support zone coming in specifically at 1.53 trillion and 886 coming about 1.38. So it's going to be an interesting time to really just pay attention to what the markets do, how they react. I'm going to put that like that, and your coordinates inside of that. So I'm gonna there's a lot on the charts, there's a lot to talk about, but I'm just going to take it one step at a time, not do too much in one video, and kind of just clean up all of the old notes that I've had and just do them on camera so we can break this down together, because it's a step-by-step process and it's really easy to implement yourself into the market once you know where you're at. So I'm gonna come to it. Let's just start with the total market cap and be on the daily time frame. And I want to hide my drawings and just leave on the indicators for a second. The indicators are telling me an indication on what's happening in the market. This aqua line is my real major line that I'm trying to pay attention to. If I hide everything else off the chart, right, this line right here is on the daily time frame, which is what I'm on right now, giving me a bearish indication of where we are. So now I'm gonna walk myself up to the 3-day. Okay, continuing to see a bearish trend coming into the lows of this previous cross, which is important. We'll get to that in a second. Come up to the weekly time frame. Look at this, consecutive bearish weeks coming into these lows, which is important. Now ultimately the monthly time frame, this black line is a lower moving average. We're not going to really get into it, but you can see that we've touched this at the beginning of the month. It's now the 9th of May, and we've had, looks like, a breakage bearish continuation, especially as I open it back up to the weekly and especially the daily. These past days have just been real evident in where the direction, in my opinion, is going to be looking at for the markets. So with that being said, how do I mark up the chart and how do I analyze myself and get into it? The most mainly thing I like to do is just measure the move, what's already happened, and how can I replicate it back into the chart. So for me, how it all started, right, we measured this first bullish move and this second bullish move, and that's how we got these boxes coming onto the chart. So now I think it's time for us to start to identify this second bearish wave and where it can, or where it's heading, where it can head based off what it previously did. And what I mean by that, I'm gonna take, where's my favorites toolbar, I'm gonna take this arrow, right, let's make it red. The first red arrow that we're actually gonna have on the chart, all I did was measure from this high, all-time high, to this medium intermediate low, and I'm gonna duplicate it, and all I'm gonna do is just drag it onto the top of what's already been measured out on the chart. And as you can see, it's coming straight lower into these lower levels of the major 618. I'll kind of get into that level later, but I'm just going to kind of fix this arrow. And that's what this black arrow is representing, but I'm going to leave it like this, right? And all these levels are important. I've talked about them before, but I kind of want to establish these videos that I'm going to be making forward as a new fresh start. So I'm going to leave them there and not talk about them, but as I get more into the breakdown of the chart, why they're there, and etc. So the main thing to me for right now is that I see we're in this yellow box, right, and there's a lot on the chart. So I'm gonna try to do it like this, Let's go to the 3-day time frame and kind of clean up the chart, because I don't like too much being on the chart at one time. So being in a clean representation. So pretty much we've had a lot of just noise in here, right? If I take off everything once again, this was all important, but these boxes and all these markings are from lower time frame. So now from a bigger time frame perspective, like what are we waiting on, right? Trev, what are you summing this up to? We need to come back and hold the levels that we've previously established before, which would be, for me, the purple box is 786 to 886, and those levels are right 1.35 and 1.56. So I'm gonna kind of do that just one step at a time for multiple pairs and mark them all up together. So I did the total market cap, and I'm gonna kind of clean up the chart as I go, because there's a lot on here when I was previously probably looking at it myself. But now I'm going to mark the, once again, Bitcoin has broke this 886, looking like it's gonna head lower. So be aware the different, you know what I'm saying, markets that you might be looking at might be presenting different levels for different reasons. So just be aware, because I see now this is looking like it's gonna head into the lower reversal zone, probably breaking this low. I don't know. I'm just gonna, you know, one thing at a time. Like I said, one thing at a time. So I'm marking the 786 and the 886. That's the whole point of this video, or right now, I mean. All right, Ethereum doesn't even have it, or does it? It did. This is, so the 786, 886 that I'm marking is the major 786, 886, which is the coming from the biggest low, not this intermediate low in the middle, this lower one. So for Ethereum, I don't even have a fib drawn up. So I'm gonna slowly kind of do one right here. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna kind of try and duplicate it. If it'll let me. That way I gotta match the settings. Do this. Boom. Cool. Match that, starting from the wick all the way to the closure of the candle. That's where I like ending it. So now that we have that, I can put on this purple box and mark up that level. And the reason I'm doing this is because this gives me a overall bigger, higher time frame idea on how I'm supposed to be looking at the market. If it comes to, let's say, 786, 886 and holds it, then that's okay. I can be reactive of that. But if it's rejecting it, okay, I'm adamantly looking at this for a potential DCA level, because that's all these are really going to come down to, are my DCA levels and the possibilities of what they could break down to. So I did Bitcoin and Ethereum total market cap, and let's do loop ring a wild one. That was an intraday setup opportunity I was looking at. Let's kind of break that down. What I saw, right, if I come down to the 12-hour, I saw this impulsive up, and price came down, held in this yellow pocket, and right here was the major opportunity for price to continue up into the trend. But as you can see, price immediately rejected that. I don't even think if it look going to the daily time frame, you didn't even get a closure over. So this whole buy idea failed, and be aware of that, right? This 85 level that was trying to buy off of when it confirmed off 75, this failed. You know what I'm saying? Be aware. And this is how you notice and mark yourself up into the market, because I was only able to see that from the levels that I drew. And this one right here, I'll try to clean up the chart as I go. This is a 382 to 618 sweet spot. We'll just leave it right here because that's where it last ended. And the reason I don't want to delete them is because these zones, price is going to come back. And when price comes back, you need to know how to read the level and react to it. So I'm going to kind of clean it up like I said. So we've broken past the 786, 886 from this low to this high. Now there's a bigger low. I mean a lower low. Excuse me, bigger low. I guess that's technically right, but we're going to measure that from this low all the way up to the closure of the last candle. Well, let's use this high. And I got to be careful because I don't want too much to be popping up. Where is it? Okay, so it's right here. So I see it. Boom. We need to make it the biggest because these are the levels. All right. Stick with me here. So this is the lower level, 55 cents, and it broke under 87. That's a big range. So this is showing me off the back that crypto is about to start ranging, and it has to fill those ranges in after it creates the range. Really, what I was paying attention to, if it was going to hold some type of a trend, is if you look at this big giant bearish bullish move up, when it started to have its pullbacks, it made lower highs. So that's where I marked these dashed arrows coming from. And right here we had a breakout, and now it's looking like it's about to come back and test that same breakout level. So I'm gonna leave that one up, but I'm gonna take this one and make it from extended and draw it to something like this, so I can keep it as a previous drawing, as an analysis that happened in the market, pointing right to that. Boom. All right, so we're already at this 55 cents level here. Notice how all of those levels are coming right either at the 886 or they're broken past it. For instance, the total market cap, right in between the middle. I'm gonna clean this up. But for Bitcoin, has broken beneath this 886. Ethereum right at the top of it, 786. So every coin is at a different level, different area. So it's important to know where I am in the market and how we measure ourselves. I'm actually going to look at the line chart because that's really more important than the candlesticks right now. I'm just trying to look at the levels. I'm not really on price action right now. But I will bring back the candles for a second to point out that this is a major engulfing candle that has closed past, if I kind of zoom in here on the chart, right, and look at it like this, right? You have this major bearish candle that is closing past all of these buyers that ramped price up. They're no longer here. So this yellow box is just representing an opportunity of a reversal zone for either buyers or sellers to show up. And it looks like the sellers have completely won by engulfing and closing. We got about 6 hours left in the day. So we just want to see how price reacts. Same thing as before. Go look at my previous video. That's how we always did and reacted. And it came up and created entries and formations here. So really, it's just going to take some time to take analysis on the chart and really mark up and have a clean analysis of what you're looking at, because a lot of these levels are from previous levels. So the whole point of me even recording these videos is to show my perspective of what I'm looking at and how I'm coming up with these levels and areas. So one thing at a time, I'm gonna just kind of do the total market cap right now, and we want to look at the higher levels because that's where we're at right now. So from the weekly perspective, that's where I want to just pay attention to right now. This yellow box, if I haven't said it before, is from this low to this high, from 10 to 30% below. So if I have a low right here, it's 10 to 30% below here, and that's a reversal spot. I'm not going to get into that. But now it's breaking down into this 886, this purple zone. So for me, I see this red dashed line. For me, I want to see if price is going to close beneath this red dashed line, as well as beneath this 50% in 786. Like, all these levels are important on the weekly time frame. So it's only Monday, May 9th, excuse me. So we have 5 to 6 more days left in the week. We want to see how price reacts here. So I'm not going to even do anything much. I think right now I'm going to actually end this video because there's not really much to talk about. I guess I could wrap it up by going to looking at some of the other coins. So this is Binance coin. Look at how it's breaking its 786, coming into its new 786, 886. I think what I'm going to do actually is make this visible only on the daily time frame, so I can use, because this major 786, 886 is the major zone. That's what I want to pay attention. So the 3-day time frame, I see where it's actually colored in. Okay, so right here in the 3-day time frame, you see we've coming in to this purple zone. I'm trying to think of how I can do this visually show better what I'm looking at. But let me do what I said. Just mark the 786 and the 886. This is the range right now for some of these coins that they're presenting. And all we're doing is just marking them. Solana. This is actually flowing very healthily. Even though it's falling, it's a nice flow, the way that it flowed. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just a massive sell-off and massive panic attack. A lot of buyers. If you look at this black arrow that I had drawn back in the beginning of February when I was identifying maybe a replication, it was just from this. So all I do with these arrows in these boxes is I draw an arrow like I did with this one. I drew this arrow starting from this high to this low, and I duplicated it. And I drew it. Ooh. And I did something. I think it's locked. No, it's not. What's happening here? I don't think I'm doing it right. Anyways, I'm gonna move this over because I don't know why it's tripping. But it's really this. Boom. Look at how that's lining up exactly with the last arrow, because that's all the market does is moving cycles. It repeats itself. So this 88 level that we were previously trying to buy off of right here was just the bottom of this low, right? And now price is breaking this low, so we have to use a new low, which is on a higher time frame. So we're no longer looking at 88. We're now looking at the 786, which is 72. And I don't know why price wants to be difficult. And no good and well I was using these purple ones. How do I see if I can do something to finesse the system? It's to be churlish. Okay, I got something for that. Boom, get all smarted. So boom, there's that one. Okay, I see how you're gonna be. And boom, here's this one. Solana coming to 73, potentially 49. XRP. Sheesh. Look at my baby XRP. This was a nice entry opportunity here at 70 cents. I thought it was going to break this. I thought we were going to come higher, no cap. Because what this is, let me give you a replay tool on XRP. Let me give a real example of what I really look at in the markets, right? Let's say we've had this big giant move up, right? Buy. All I did was measure from the low to the high, and we have our colored levels. No boxes because nothing really represented itself yet. Once we get above this aqua line right here, that's showing me that buyers are now controlling. We use this as a halfway mark, 50%. That's what it is at the 50 EMA. Once it crosses 50%, right, buyers showing up, they're showing up. And now you pretty much want to see if it's going to break the yellow line. That's the main make it or break it. And right there is where it rejected it perfectly. So what that means from this point, you're either looking at a buy from two impulses this way, or you're looking at a sell from two impulses beginning to come this way. And that's pretty much what happened. Is if I take this move and I duplicate it, let's let the market play out. It came back into this purple zone, tapped it. See how it's reacting? It's rejecting it, filling into these zones, and then boom. Now we haven't completely filled this out, but that's showing me, look how it's pointing right at that 886. Is this, no, this isn't caught up in the market. I'm sorry. Boom. Right, we had these smaller buys try to show up here. 62 cents, came down, made a low, impulsive wave up, came back, held this 786, 886 price, loaded up. This is how you play these zones and price right here. This was the last opportunity for the buyers to really take control and confirm these buys right here at 70 cents, and it rejected. So now we have to be aware of what's next. And to me, it looks like XRP has a huge range, possibly 36 cents. Sheesh. I don't expect it to stay down there long at all. I'm really interested to see how the markets play out. And I want to continue to annotate my analysis as well, because it's cool to see the journey on how it all started from my perspective and how it's really playing out. When you look at the higher time frames and just let the market do what it's already telling you and showing you, pretty obvious. Now Luna is different, and I believe this fib is from, yeah, this low to this high. I don't even have a fib drone from this low to this high because I see it's kind of intercepting and breaking it. So let's just look at it like this. It's more clean that way as well. Right here at the bottom, 51 cents, 44 cents. It made them just be difficult, wouldn't you? Right here, and the other one right here. Let's see, polka dot. Polka dot is one of those ones to me that just really just fell out the sky. Like, man. This don't even make no sense. I'm gonna look at it from this way, from this perspective, show you guys a different way. If I once again look at it from this high to this low, right, this big giant bearish move, I'm gonna just replicate that arrow and put it on top of itself. So it's showing me, goodness gracious, where it looks like it can go. But instead of me using that one, I'm gonna use a previous sell-off from this high to this low, and I'll replicate it this way. So it ends up looking like it's about the same thing. Right? So I don't know, man. I'm just drawing the chart. But what I will draw on as well is from this high to this low, all the way back up to this high. We're gonna go to the walk up. Pretty much, oh man, showing me in quarter levels where the price is gonna hit. So this is the first 25%, and this next range is from 25 to 50%. And I see that the negative 13 from this low to this high, negative 13%. There is a key level right here, basic key level Fibonacci, and I think that might be our level we got to pay attention to, right around 460. That is crazy for polka dot. Mana, get mana. Let's go to the lower time frame for some of these as well. A nice 5-way buy signal was up, and then you can see right here, this was a rejection down beneath the aqua. I can zoom in here. I know I'm so far away. And then right next to it, a little bit more expanded, was the next rejection as well. So, you know, the markets have given a footprint a while back on what it was going to do. It just took its time for it to play and for people to really start taking profit and seeing what's happening. Very interesting. So you can see we're in the purple range for mana as well. We'll draw it out like this. Already breaking beneath 122, so it's probably going to suck back in. For the coins like Bitcoin, this one mana that already broke below it, I expect it to really do some type of thing like coming below and going right back in. These are the ones that got a lot of buyers in here already, but it's just interesting to see. ADA, man, ADA broke that $1 level, that major $1 level. And then if you're looking at it from quarter level theory, the next one's 75 cents, breaking that one. I guess the next one would be what, 50 cents. Sheesh, I'm not even gonna draw anything. I'm just gonna sand from this low to this high, right into the beginning of the top of its purple 786. So all of these are doing a 786, 886 retest. Full swing back. Full emotional cycle. You know, how do you react out of here? Do you take opportunities to look for sales? Do you even do that type of trading? What I'm trying to do here is replicate the arrows indicating the bearish trend that happened over and over and over. So now this looks like it's going to be stopping right here. This is interesting. Trying to sneak. What time frame? I'm on the daily time frame for sure. So that's going to be interesting to see what that does. Pay attention. I see you over here. Um, I'm gonna do this one because this is just a major coin. But you can see, I didn't even do a buy setup. I did a sell setup, pretty much showing you how the sellers accumulated in here. And this was a 786, 886 of this, from this low to this high. Price showed no type of strength here for these buyers. But we're gonna use that and measure that for our next fib, from this low to this high. Kind of put a reversal perspective on it. Same thing, negative 10 to 30%. And it's looking like it's gonna come closer towards its target zone of 65 cents. Pretty much replicating from this high to this low, coming all the way from this high to this low. But I'm gonna leave that there because it's already printed. But it's interesting to see the waves inside of it, because if I go back to the daily time frame, remember I told you every time price crosses that aqua, it's a sell opportunity or a buy opportunity if it goes up. Here, here, here. Same thing if I come back to something like Ethereum. I got black arrows on here, but nonetheless, they're not color coded, but I'll use the first black one as a kind of realization opportunity. The black one, excuse me, I'm kind of talking in circles, but just a lot of things printing on the chart, man. Wanted to come through and just get myself on video going through each thing. So if I look at Bitcoin, oh, it's still dropping. From a fresh point analysis standpoint, let's look at it from like the daily, right? Me, once again, the main thing is you're looking at waves. If Bitcoin was so strong to submit this first wave and then replicate itself and do it again, didn't fully complete it, but someone like that, then I have to have the same idea from a selling standpoint, right? If Bitcoin sells off, I'm gonna assume it's gonna do the same thing again, right? Bitcoin buys up, same thing. What you think's next? I'm assuming it's gonna do the same thing again. Look at that, boom. So now it's like, oh, all right, what's next? Do I take an arrow from this high to this low, saying this is gonna be the new one that goes all the way down? Doing something like this, because that's pretty extreme. Don't you think? That's pretty extreme, saying Bitcoin can go all the way to 21K. I don't know, but I will look at a smaller one that is more evident and more recent, which is from this low to this high. So this is what I see right here, right? If I draw a fib from the low to the high and I extend it out right here between 13 and 27%, 10 to 30% is where you really want to look for that next reaction. Breaking out of this consecutive bearish trend from this high to this lower high, right? We're now trending bearish. Where is it at? Boom, let's make that red. And then let's do another one instead of from this time, from the high, instead of from this lower high right here, let's do the first one that it made. And let's kind of trap price. Let's kind of give like a visual perspective on what we're looking at, right? I'm trying to trap price to just, we're just analyzing here. None's concrete. This is how I like to trade. I like to look at what happened in the past to present what's going to happen next again, and just stay within those ranges. So when I come to my chart, I have these color codes. It begins to make sense to me because there's nothing but blue and purple. That's all. You're gonna get blue and purple and occasional yellow, and watch how price moves between the aqua and between those. If I hide the indicators for a second, There's a lot. I won't even go into that, but I just want to come in here and make this video real quick, just a quick analysis. The markets are doing another reset, pretty much saying there's going to be enough time to start accumulating slow again. I don't expect to see any major moves. It is important to see that from a weekly time frame perspective, all the way on the total market cap. If I hide everything, thank you. I'm so happy and grateful to be here. So happy and grateful to be in this present moment. Grateful to be expanding the knowledge of crypto, sharing it with others. Thank you. 1414 just kind of gave some thanks. But from the weekly time frame, we have broken past key levels that have never closed below since the new year, January, right? Back in 2021 is where we were last time in these areas. Even before that, 2020. So it's huge. You don't want to just be reacting here. You want to watch. Definitely DCA though. If you have your levels, that's the whole point of me drawing these levels and these colors and these boxes and etc. Right? These are probably going to be key levels that I DCA at. 37, 33. I'm letting you know right now, price goes below anything 30. Definitely DCA for sure. Look at that 24. Boy. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. Appreciate you for watching. From an intraday perspective, if I go back to the daily time frame, I mean to the 12-hour, like look at loop brain, what you're watching, my homie. If you look up at the chart and you go to the 12-hour time frame, you want to always watch from the daily and then go to the 12, and then, you know what I'm saying, go lower and just confirm these levels that it's at based off the aqua, which is your halfway, your 50%. It's going to tell you, you know what I'm saying, that last time, that next time, if it's ready or not, etc., etc., is going to come in these spots. So just be aware. Something like that, something like that. But yeah, I don't want to make this too long. Appreciate you. Peace. Love. And holla back.